Hi, my name is Michael Ammons, and today we're going to look at Google and a diminishing long-term value of its smart home products. In the overview, we are going to look at is, are Google smart home products worthy of a long-term investment? The loss of customer trust, customers quoted statements, the ramifications of Google unthoughtful decisions, analyzing Google's organizational structure. Is Google a conscious leader in the smart home industry? Google's 8-step Cotter plan for smart home technology, pushback against change, and my leadership learnings. So understanding among key stakeholders is that is Google really being understanding among their key stakeholders? So when I look here, customers are suffering as Google randomly make decisions regarding existing smart home technology. So there's products like the Nest Secure, the Chromecast Audio, some of their first gen home speakers, and just so much more that Google is making just, decisions that will potentially be beneficial, but are they thinking about the investment and what customers are doing and how they're choosing to be a part of their brand and their smart home technology when they're making these changes? Are they thinking about those customers as they're making these changes and as they're doing things? Are they just being thoughtful? So ultimately, I really wonder about the long-term value and the cost that people are putting towards these smart home technologies. So the Nest Secure cost about $500 originally. There's been some promotions going on out there, but for the people that pay $500, that's not a small amount. And then you also look at it and you're paying, about $50 for additional Nest Detect. They're little bitty things that that you can put throughout your home or on doors that detect motion, various different activity to protect your home. And so you really invest a lot of money in this technology, and just randomly Google decides to eliminate that product, and then they eliminated the Chromecast Audio. They continuously make changes, and customers are just really getting a little iffy about their investment in Google and just smart home products in itself. And so is Google putting their own goals and initiative and priorities over the customer stakeholder? Are they even thinking about the customer stakeholder? We'll elaborate and go more, but this is my question. So what do the customers say? The customers are thinking that this is ridiculous. They say, I love the Nest Guard. Personally, I love the Nest Guard. I have it here in my home as well. So, but then you start to sit there and think that Google's been going downhill. People are saying Google going downhill. And, that's not a good thing to be hearing from your customers, people that's a part of it. Then people are thinking about going to Apple. So Apple is a competitor and they're fighting for parts of the market share. So then you got people thinking about going that direction. You got even Amazon that has Ring, and they have an even larger part of the market share with the Alexa. And so you really don't, you're hearing this from your customers and you're sitting there saying, okay, well, I hope you're listening. I really do. And so, and then you got another person that's sitting here saying is that they bought one when it was on deal, and they need another Nest Detect. But guess what? You can't get one. Google's not offering one. Google said that there's a solution and they're going to offer more, but guess what? That's been over 6 months ago, and people are just waiting, wondering what Google's going to do. You just don't know. So the ramifications of these actions is that right now customers will choose to commit to other brands. And so when I talk about it, Ring is it's a pretty good product, but I chose Nest because I'm a Google person. I'm an Android guy, and I've been Team Google. But could they sway me? If this continues, you just never know. So Amazon has a huge part of the market share, so they could see decreasing market share. And I know I'm a little bit nervous, and I know other people are a little bit nervous. So then you start saying is reluctancy towards long-term investment of their products. So yeah, I'm reluctant. If I'm going to spend $500, I need to know that you have a plan and you're going to think about me as you're making decisions. I mean, smart home technology is the future, but now this can't be the future if it's going obsolete within less than 2 years. How do you make a future out of that if you're eliminating products? So let's analyze Google's device and service organizational chart. So we look here, we see the device and services leader, Rick, and we see Rishi. He's the VP of product and general manager for Google Nest. He's a key player there. And these decisions, you see other people that play roles. So this is their whole device and organization team, the team that probably makes, decisions that, are pushed through to other entities and other people within the organization, but these people make these decisions. So it's a pretty lean horizontal structure. But the thing that I see is I see a disconnect between public affair team. So when I look here, I see Corey, and Corey's around, but Corey's not doesn't have a member that overlooks and provides insights to this device and services team. And I really feel like it would have been an opportunity for them to have Corey or another one of his members. He has one other person that is there, be a part of these key decisions. So I look here that there's definitely a disconnect. And then I also sit there and say that they are really being reactive to the conflict and issues that arise. So they're just reacting. They're not being proactive. They're reacting. I want to reiterate that. And then there's just they're potentially lacking the right matrix structure of the teams. So Google, I don't think they're displaying conscious culture. So Google is a premium brand that is misusing their platform to offer smart home technology by clearly focusing on profit, and that's not someone that is displaying conscious cultures. To be conscious in management, you have to know the importance of considering all stakeholders. And so, secondly, profit. If your profit is not, it's not about higher purpose. When you're looking for higher purpose, profit doesn't play a factor in that. And I really think that Google is highly focused on profit now. So I say no to conscious culture. And so right here, what we're looking at is we're looking at an 8-step plan approach for Google to really help out the Google Nest products. And so I sit there and say that I think they need to hold a meeting, a large meeting, and talk about these discontinued items and people that are making large investments and making their customer happy, because it's all about the customer. And then show the impact of current market share and in comparison to previous market share. And they really need to look at this and watch and monitor this, because I think they're going to see impact there. And I think the people to guide this plan would be Corey, who is the PR guy, Rich, who is over device and services, and Rishi, who is the leader of Google Nest. I think that these guys should buy into it. I think that these guys should be a part of the plan, and they should lead it, because these are people that can get buy-in and can really push forward. And so a short-term strategy would be to find ways to deliver for existing Nest Secure products to allow customers to get the most value out of the plan. This is just a way to sit there and say, we are thinking about you and we're providing you with resources to utilize something you've already invested in. Secondly, smart home product trade-in program. You do it with cell phones. Why not with smart home technology? You're reducing people from leaving and you're keeping people with Team Google. That's what I say about that. So long-term value is the development of items that will be secure and meet the needs of invested customers. So you want a commitment to items that are going to last for a long time, that Google can support and provide updates to, and you want to see them doing that and not discontinuing items. This is how you're going to win over the customer. You also may want to consider a smart home trade-in value if you're going to do that. This is a great resource. I mean, if you if you start working this, you're keeping people buying there, you're keeping the money trickling in. And again, you already do it with cell phones. So, and then lastly, I think you want to continue to partner with other companies in a secure manner to allow safe integration and connection with other smart home products. So when I say that, I know this a lot of this changes were about security, but the thing is that you have to continue. So you have to get that partnership going, and you have to solve these, and you have to do it fast because smart home technology is here and it's already happening. You've already jumped into here, but you got to learn on the fly, and you got to do it. You got to do it in a good way. So the last thing, like the other part, is that you need to just get collective buy-in to the short-term and long-term strategies across, and just get everybody on. So that's you got to get people to volunteer and really believe in what's going on, and get things going. So ultimately, to remove the barriers, I think you need the public affair professional within the company to be there for key product decisions, and he's going to be there for internal and external impact. He should be there to review as you're making decisions. You should have him there so that you are more proactive than reactive. I mentioned that earlier, but I'm mentioning it again. So you want to start to really just get some short-term wins, restock those nested techs, and just really start to just make customers see that you're caring. And so ultimately, the idea is for sustaining acceleration is to continuously to improve, to push for external approval and positive acceptance of Google and smart home technology. So you know that there's bad vibes out there. Now you want to take some of these initiatives and strategies, get them going, and sustain it. That's the goal. Sustain it, improve, and overcome the hurdles and the crisis within the changes that you've had to make to get to the platform that you're trying to. But ultimately, you can't forget about the stakeholders. And so provide consistent review of customer approval in relation to Google Smart Home technology. Start doing that, and offer well thought out products from every angle. So the pushback that you might hear is the need for profit from the investors, the bottom line cost of a trade-in program for smart home products, and not enough time for the various departments to come together. So I say this is all things like that you just got to ignore, things that don't matter, things that you got to look at as far as being conscious and being a servant leader in the organization. You guys are a leader. You got to get it right, and you got to be competitive, because if you don't get it right, these other competitors will. And so my learnings is that um, companies that change appropriately are presented with the opportunities to continuously do business well into the future. And so this is Google's opportunity. You do well, business will continue. As a manager, I always want to strive to have a mindset of how decisions affect other stakeholders. My position is always about designing an organization structure that will allow them to foresee issues with new smart home products, and managing the changes that need to occur to win the smart home battle. So I'm a huge Google embracer, but I am subject to not having long-term value to discontinue due to discontinuation of the Nest Secure and other products. So I sit there and say that they need to think about the Lewis process model, and which is resemblant of Kotter's 8-step plan. Google ultimately needs to look for change. Google needs to unfreeze, change, and refreeze their actions as they continue to become a leader in the smart home technology. And so I say paternalistic intervention is generally thought to be justified if the harm of intervening in the decision making is outweighed by the benefit of the resulting decision. And so this presentation is my intervention for change